we decided that we will be having online weekly sessions, and that will be led by a women educator every week in all 5 weeks of March. So as part of that, we are starting it today with a session on bridging the gap between industry and academia. Okay. So I think I need not speak much about this. I think that our educator will do. Our educator for today is Maya Menon, a faculty member from Department of IT, CUSAT, Cochin University of Science and Technology. So she is having experience of more than 10 years in the industry, software industry, and then she joined as a faculty member in CUSAT. Also, a founder of NGO called Mind About Charitable Trust. I think she will speak more about that too. Also a motivation speaker. So we are really glad to have you to take this session to start the Women Speaker Month. So welcome, Maya.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jijo, for that wonderful introduction. Hi, everyone. So I don't have any slides. I'm just going to talk. And since I don't want to be too boring, what I had discussed with Jijo before is like I'll just talk 15-20 minutes about. I'll give you some perspectives, both from the college side, because I'm close to the college people, as well as from the corporate side, and then maybe we can just throw it out for discussion or interaction, is what I thought, because too much talking is anyway puts everybody to sleep. So yes, so I'll start a bit with what I am. I was a computer engineer, but currently I'm a teacher. I'm a guest lecturer at CUSAT IT, as Jijo had said, and I have taught DevOps. So I think I get a perspective about DevOps that way. So before I get into my speech, I would just like to say first, so this thing about bridging the gap between academia and the industry, I think everybody knows it. It's like a well-known secret or whatever. Or even it's a fact. I'm not sure if it's a secret, but nobody does anything towards it. And I think it's very essential that we need to start addressing it. So when I first joined back in 2019, when I first joined here as a teacher in the college, I realized. So I graduated long back. Okay, so I realized that even though a lot of subjects and things have changed, but the way it's done, a lot of things are still similar. So in the fact that even though we have labs and other things, the practical things, but especially subjects like cloud, like DevOps, Agile, even these subjects, they are not taught from. They're taught more or less from a theoretical perspective than a practical perspective, which is understandable because obviously teachers do not have that expertise. The cloud and DevOps and all these just came in the recent years. When I used to work, there was no cloud. When I used to work, there was no Git or GitHub. So so the very first thing, if there are any college students, I don't know how many of you are college students, but if any of you are in college, the one thing, so I'm going to give perspectives from both sides. Okay, so professionals, please bear with me while I give the college perspective. So if you're in college, the very first thing that you need to know is Git and GitHub. And I don't know the reason why it's not really taught in any colleges. I've gone to many colleges. Through my NGO, I make it a point to go for different workshops. When I go to different colleges, it's alarming to find computer science students in S7, S8, final year students, not knowing even what Git or GitHub is. It's pretty alarming. I'm also a GitHub campus advisor. So how did I start my journey with GitHub? I learned it from, one of my students asked me and said, when I first joined in, he said, "Ma'am, can you learn this? Because this is what is, if you know this, you can teach other students this. And that's what got me into the journey of, learning, unlearning, relearning, and things like that. So more of learning. So I think from a college perspective, the very important part is that all educators or academicians need to learn the tools, need to know the practical aspects before they start teaching the students, because to give them a better perspective. Now, for example, when I started teaching, and some of the students who graduated out, when they came back after they got through placements and everything, they came back and they told me, ma'am, on our first day we were asked what is monoliths, what are microservices, and we had no clue. Okay, so they go studying whatever DS, OS, DBMS, all those things, right? They go there when they start doing the training. So they're like, ma'am, the people who were peers with us who were in IITs, they knew about microservices. We did not. And to tell you the truth, I don't think you need to be in IIT to know microservices or monoliths. It's just so the gap is so wide. I'm just trying to put it in perspective for the professionals out there. I don't know how many of you have gone for any campus interviews, or you have actually taken people recently, recruited people. You will find there an alarming rate of people not really knowing anything other than the theoretical aspect, and that too because they just know theory. They don't have an actual idea about things. So I'm a network engineer, okay? So ping, telnet, blah blah, all those things is what I used to do, like router switch programming. That's what I used to do. So when I came to CUSAT, the thing I had requested is I want to be a networks teacher, because networks is a very tough subject in engineering field. Why? Because actually networks is not tough, but we don't get a wholesome picture of what exactly is ping. Okay, it's ICMP, blah blah, but how does it work? What goes on behind? What happens? How can you see the packets? All those kind of things. So what I did, I joined in January. In February, I took these students. I actually Googled a lot of labs across Kochi and called them up and asked them, can you actually, I have some students, can you show them, ping, telnet, all those things? Can you show that to them? Because you run a lab, can you do this for my students? And many of the labs obviously refused because they don't want to do anything for free. And I didn't want to take any money from the students because they're anyway paying for their engineering degree. So finally, we found one lab somewhere in Kalur. I forgot its name, but and I took all these students there on a Saturday, and I took them there, and I just, I wanted to show them how the network layer works, how computer networks actually work. Okay, I think around 20-30 of them turned up, and then they got some idea. But then that got me thinking, and what I started doing is I curated a very small module, whereby which is what I've been teaching for the past 4 years as an extra added thing, is router switch programming. What I do is it's simple things. I don't do MPLS and all that. I don't do all that. What I do, I just teach them how to build an Ethernet interface, how to build a serial interface, or anything which is related to what is ping, what is telnet, what are VLANs, how to design VLANs. And we can do it all for free using Cisco Packet Tracer, right? So we curated a lab so that the students start understanding when they learn what is an OSI model, what exactly is the significance of for a network person. So I think so this is I'm trying to put you in a perspective whereby you can see how networks can become a better subject. The same way I believe DevOps also has the same, like if you take a small workshop whereby they can understand. So last year, I spoke this to Jiju as well. Last year we had a session by a person from a particular organization who came and took a 3-hour session for our students. DevOps was is introduced as a subject since last year in Cochin University. And so to give them a perspective of what is the CI/CD pipeline, what is DevOps as such, what do you mean by continuous integration, continuous deployment, what do you mean by that? So rather than just these technical terms thrown at them, this guy showed the entire pipeline to them. He actually implemented it over a 3-hour workshop. Okay, half of it must have gone above their heads, but at least they understood something, because it was not a hands-on thing. He was just explaining it. But I think if there are more such industry people who come up, and from an industry perspective, the thing is, all these things, if you just give them a glimpse, because I have seen that in my students, if they are given a practical glimpse of how it works, they actually do really well. They actually can. It's like that with any of us, right? So you tell what are agile principles and you just blabber it, or you actually play a game like you play in either the industry or in classrooms, just to understand how agile is different than waterfall. That will stay with them as compared to just the theory. So there is a huge gap, there's no doubt about it, because they learn a few things and they get out of college almost clueless, right, of what they have to perform out there. Okay, yes, you have to do coding, you have to do all those things, but what about the methodology, like how you do things? Like, if they are given an exposure in college, it can go a very long way. Like, we got in the GitHub campus program into the college, and that has created a small culture whereby, okay, now you need, so we know that, okay, if there are internships, you need to put up your GitHub profile so that people can see that you're not just a one-off coder, you have been coding for quite some time, all those things. So that is only possible if industry people join hands with us. And I know you guys have a lot on your plate, especially because you're all working, but it just contributing, even if it's once a month or something, contributing can help you as well as them. So how it helps them is very clear, because they get a practical perspective. But how does it help you as a working professional to take classes for them? So I'll tell you something. When you try and train your peers, the way you think, the way you talk is way different than when you have to come down to the level of students and teach them, right? So it actually not only helps you get better with your basics, but also helps the students get a better perspective. So when you are teaching the students, you are actually helping yourself get a better understanding of the subject, is what I feel. I mean, that's how I have felt. I think I tell all my students that I have got way more than I have been able to give in these past 4 years, because I've learned a lot from them, be it from cloud. So now cloud also, like, I was a Google Cloud facilitator. That's why I got to know how to build VM or do those things, because those things are not there in college. We try, and so we are trying to encourage teachers to take up, to learn GitHub, to learn cloud, as in go there and actually work on cloud. But teachers already have a huge workload, so we really cannot say that they're not trying the level best, or each and every teacher is just having such a huge workload. It's very difficult for them to try and get something in this new space where they're not really working on doing practical things on a daily basis. So with industry people, if we can have like a collaboration or whatever, no, forget, I don't even mean like an official collaboration. So during 2021, so Gijo told me that it was during 2021 that your DevOps club started. So during 2021, there are like 12-15 clubs in CUSAT, all different clubs. It could be art, science, blah blah, technical clubs, electronics, mechanical clubs. There are so many clubs out there in the college. We all brought them under a single umbrella. And every Saturday, we used to have an industry person who used to come and talk. So we called it CUSAT clubs. And we had every Saturday some individual, maybe in US, maybe in India, maybe in Ireland, they used to come and they used to just tell their story. Maybe a product manager's story, if he's a product manager, or maybe somebody who's working in a bank, his story on, how to go about it. So students start getting perspective. So right now, if you ask any college grad, what does he want to be? If it's ITCS guy, he'll just say software engineer. There's so much in software engineering. It's not just about development. There's so many other things you can do. You can go into cloud, you can go into DevOps, you can go into AI ML, you can go into networks. There are so many parts that you can go into analytics, but people don't realize it. So how do they realize? When they listen to industry people. And I'll tell you one thing that I have noticed amongst college students, and I believe we can utilize that fact, is that if there is an industry speaker who comes in, they're all ears. They will listen very attentively. When it's us teachers, they just take teachers for granted. They're like, okay, teachers will come and go. They'll keep blabbering away. But industry speakers get that respect. And so if you industry speakers come over and actually take sessions, you can be assured of the respect that you'll get from the college students. That's 100%. And the other thing, the more important thing, you guys have graduated, 5-10 years back from your colleges. So when you come and you take a session, you get what should I say? It's like a give and take. You are giving your knowledge to them, but they in turn are giving back the love and respect to you. So you get energized. That's what most of the industry speakers, either whether they were online or offline, because I have arranged a lot of industry speakers for my college, and most of them, most of the speakers, that's what they've said. They're like, when we come there, it's a different energy, which is true, because college students have that energy. And as corporates, you people can help out in many ways, be it as a seminar, be it as a workshop. So if you guys could, just come up with any, like, we can give that platform whereby students can interact with industry people, that would help a lot. So yeah, I think that's about it. What I really wanted to talk about, like, I want industry people, or all of us actually want industry people to come forward. The gap is huge because students don't know a lot of things which are utilized in the industry, and teachers are unable to teach because we don't know the tools which are used there. So we go on this path of, you have to finish the syllabus, 4 modules, blah, blah. And in between that, take extra pains to learn something practical, which we have to, at least I personally have tried to do, but it's not an easy process, which can be made easier by you professionals. If you take that step and come forward and help these students. So I think students can gain a lot with interaction with the industry people. So Jijo, is that what you were thinking of with this talk? Do you want?
Yeah, exactly, yes. Yeah, I think the people professionals here, they got an understanding, like what is a trend now, or how is the education system works now, and what is a gap, why there is a gap, and how we can contribute back. Definitely, I think so. Maybe we can expect some questions or at least some comments. I encourage everyone here to, if you have no questions, if there are any students or beginners here, they can definitely ask. Otherwise, our experienced professionals and educators are here. I encourage you to please give some comment on what Maya was talking about.
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
from
please.
your perspective.
Yeah, please. So because the thing is, I think a lot of things, like now there is a lot of syllabus revision. So we have in our S8 right now, we have blockchain. In our S6 we have DevOps, and cloud was there from quite some time. But yeah, all these new subjects are coming up. But unfortunately, the in the syllabus, it's more like, okay, you understand these terms, you know what is IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, or okay, there is something called a VM, but you've never built a VM. You don't know. You know there's something called a firewall, but you don't really know what it is. Is it a fire? What is a firewall? It's just a one line command. They don't realize that. So the whole point is they know the terms. They have heard the terms. Let's put it that way. Let's not say know the terms. They have heard these terms, but for them to understand it, they need to do it practically. And practical implementation, so even if I take a cloud, say, okay, yeah, how will we get servers to work on? It's not possible. So unless the university goes on a collab with either GCP or Azure or Amazon or whatever cloud providers are out there, which usually, at least universities which are government universities, will really not care this way or that way, right? Even for a GitHub, like for GitHub campus program, where they are like, we'll start teaching. So when I came in, nobody knew what GitHub was, right? Including me. I mean, I learned it because, so you had to do the assignment. So I did an assignments and interviews and everything in order to get an understanding of GitHub. But seriously, honestly, how many will do that extra work in order to? So I've told a lot of teachers, you can use GitHub rather than using Google Classroom. Use GitHub. It has got a better way of, and you can ask the students to put up their assignments there. That way the students are more motivated to actually start using GitHub. But that's not happening. And it's not just about CUSAT. There are many other colleges I go to, and it's the same thing everywhere. So if we can curate some labs or workshops, it will go a long way. I can assure you that. I started off with the Cisco lab thingy, just using Cisco packet tracer, but it has helped so many of my students. And it's not even something very hi-fi. It's something simple that I have curated, and it helped so many different colleges. So I believe if we have workshops like that for DevOps, or if we have workshops like that for Git and GitHub, or any, like Git and GitHub, we started a workshop last October, and a final year student took it for the first year students, and it was fantastic. What he took, there were around 100 people offline who had come, and they learned the basics of Git and GitHub. So the thing is, there are people who are ready to learn. There are people who are ready to teach, but we need to, get them together. The people who can teach and the people who want to learn, we need to get them together. And that way we can actually create quality engineers, is my take.
Thank you, Maya. So I think maybe our educators can comment on that, or maybe having some questions. Anybody has any questions? Or at least I think you can comment on it, right? We have our educators, Niran is here, Neil is here. I'm not sure whether you are busy with some production issue and just join this session. But otherwise, please. Also,
Actually, I would like to point one thing here.
Yes, please, Shari.
So it's the same that whatever Maya said, it's actually really good and really on the right track. And I also see one thing, like when you compare the education system in India with the abroad, and all, you can see the difference there. Like as she mentioned, here they don't teach you about Git or GitHub or repositories or all those things. But if you are taking a UK or US curriculum, if they want to
They just come for okay, I want an internship on AI or I want an internship on ML. So if I ask them, okay, what is the basics of AI or what you know about AI, they don't even know anything, right? Like even the core concepts or like they don't have any idea. So when many of them comes to me, what I told them is like what I tell them is like, okay, I can't provide you a internship on AI because one thing, you are not ready for that, and second thing, I can't do that. I need some other team members to do that. I'm not the right person. So normally what I do is like I say them, okay, I can provide you a internship on cloud or like cloud native things or basically on the IT and DevOps or that area. So what I do in like initial few weeks, I use them to understand, okay, what's going on here, okay, what is AI, what is DevOps, what is different segments inside this. So I used to tell them like, okay, this is like when you like study on lower classes, you first study science, then it becomes suddenly basic science, social science, different science, then again that science become chemistry, physics and maths. So the same way even the AI is getting splitted, even that like if you go to ML, then it's again getting splitted. So I just try to make them understand that, but many of them are not ready to that, right? Those who are like coming to the internship, then that's fine, but many of them, on the moment we say, okay, I can't give you a internship on AI or ML directly, then they say, no, no, this is what I need for my course, otherwise my teachers won't allow it, right? So and again people ask me like many times, okay, is it okay to give me a certificate on AI? Whatever I do here, that is fine, but the certificate should be written like AI and ML. So and another thing what I heard is like I told him like a few guys, I told that me and my colleagues are really busy, and who is doing the AI part, they are actually really busy, so they can't help us. So what he's asking like, okay, I'll do my own jobs and I'll study myself something, but can you just provide the certificates? That's the main challenge here. Like many of them just need an internship certificate on a title A and ML, but they don't want even to learn what they're doing, right? So that's a real challenge, because we are spending a lot of time and we see that just for a certificate and they don't want to use it somewhere. Then that's the main point for us.
So what you can do for that, so that for that challenge, what I always, one thing I say is, don't just, I tell my students, don't just go for an internship, go learn something. So we had an internship last year whereby because a lot of students did not get internship, I got my final years to whoever means people who had graduated to kind of give a small internship to these students. Okay, so we had some deliverables to be given at the end of every week. Same, there was one of it was AIML. Okay, in which they were not given anything related. So we are like, we are going to start first. You have to know the basic algos. You need to know the basics. Even before you start training data or whatever, you need to know the basics. So I think when these students come to you, you just give them resources, like learn it on it, means those basic resources where you have to do self-paced learning kind of a thing. You give them that, and then you say, if you get stuck anywhere, then you just query us. But first learn that and then come, and then we will think about the internship part. I think you should make a stand like that.
Yeah, we are actually doing that now. So what I do is basically like giving a 2 weeks task initially.
Yes.
So if they're able to complete it, then you can.
Yeah, then go ahead, because then they are really, that means that they're really interested. Otherwise, they're just coming for time pass.
Correct.
I mean, because actually now, because KTU and even CUSAT has made it mandatory that they need an internship. So it has become like a farce. It's more like, kahin se bhi certificate leke aana hai. So I tell them, I said, you don't give 10,000 and get a certificate. That's not what it is. Internship will help you, but they don't realize that it will help them. So, we need to drill it in. So you give them some tasks and they do it, only then give them internship. I think if you make a strict stand, then they will have to study. They will, if you make it a bit stricter, they will work. And I'll tell you one thing, all students, they have the potential, but they don't realize it. So if we push them a bit, I have seen that they can actually do wonders, but you need to really push them. Get them out of that comfort zone. So, and then, work with them, then they'll be as flexible as you want them to be. So there's an initial, initial push is needed. That's all.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashmil. Glad to know that you are already contributing back.
Yes.
Only challenge is like we know that even if 10 people are coming to internship for us, but like mostly maybe 2 of them will stay as maybe, right? And the others will still they will go for the TCS, Infosys, the MNCs offers mostly.
That is such a big thing, because they're like looking at the CTC.
Right.
Iska CTC 10 hai, iska CTC 12
And
hai.
not even the CTC also, people says like, okay, TCS is more safe. Last time also we had around 10 people on internship. So I told them, yeah, I know most of you guys are not going to stay. So, but yeah, let this go. At least you guys will get something, right? So that's
So
doing.
TCS is like a government company, na Aram ki zindagi. They want that too, but they want the money too. So I say, at least in your initial years, don't go for higher salary. Go for learning. Go to a startup. You will learn so much. And higher salary, you'll get 10 years down the line, you'll get. But learn now. So I keep telling them that. But then they'll be like, ma'am, I want dream job. I don't want general job. I want this. They get into that. It's so difficult to not get them out of that. But whoever comes to me, I always say, go for startup. Now is the time to learn. Now is not the time to check money. Money will come, but learning you need to do initially. So yeah, that is something we can't change, because people, it's like that. Like they will go, they get a bigger package, even if it is a crappy job, which they don't realize it's a crappy job. They'll realize it much later, but they go for it, unfortunately. That's how it
So
is.
while Ashmil was talking, I got reminded of this certification syndrome. Like, I think it's not just between the students, even in IT domains also it exists. Like,
Oh,
and
sorry, your voice is breaking, Juju.
I think, sorry, some network issue. Yeah, I was just saying.
I
I
think
think
we
it's
lost.
breaking again. Yeah, I think you
We
have.
have a dream.
We cannot hear you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you back?
Hello.
Yeah, now I can.
Sorry, yes.
That's it.
Some network issue. I'm connecting from my mobile.
Okay.
Yeah, I was saying, so the students, they should realize that they won't be hired
Yes.
if they say take some certification. Without real skill set and some hands-on experience. I mean, yeah, people may be asking, okay, without joining a company or doing internship, how you can get? But I felt while I was upskilling on this cloud or DevOps, many of these open source technologies that we are using in this DevOps domain, the software development lifecycle, they don't need, we don't need to pay for them. It's free. And so many courses now, I think internet accessibility is more now. So many courses are available for free, maybe YouTube and many other platforms. So if we have the willingness to learn and if we can find some time to learn, definitely we can go for a self-paced learning and we can definitely get a hands-on experience too.
Yes.
For example, if you want to learn Terraform, yeah, definitely you can do. It won't cost you much. I mean, if you learn the basics or if you Kubernetes, yeah, you can install. You just need a Linux machine or maybe a Windows machine. Install a Minikube and you can learn about it. And I know that, yeah, even in our organization team, there are some students who are like on this line. I think Jasbin is here. I don't know whether he can speak because he's a final year student from Rajagiri. Jasbin, do you want to speak? Like, from your perspective, would like to know how you feel, what is a gap between this education and skill set or that industry and academia. How you felt when you joined DevOps Malayalam? Jasbin? Yeah.
Hello, Gino. Hello,
Yes.
ma'am.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It is. Ma'am, most of the things you said were true, and I can relate to a lot of things. So, what happens nowadays is that we actually I actually try to learn many skills that are not in my curriculum. So we tend to go for internship, but most of the time these internships are basically courses that are provided by some companies. And when we actually try to do some internships, sometimes we have problems facing from even the college. That is, even some colleges are not even allowing internship nowadays.
Yes.
And That's why community-based learning helped me a lot during the COVID time. And I think if we can uh, uh, give more importance to such things, it would be great for our students.
Yes, very true, Jasmine. Actually, we started like when I realized that it's we started with every Saturday Sunday we used to have classes in CUSAT for any college. It's not just for CUSAT. Any college. We started
Yes,
with
ma'am.
GitHub, web development, Linux, shell scripting, simple 101s, not just basics. But I think if we keep continuing with that, like you just need that culture of learning. If we can bring that in colleges, it can make a
Yes, ma'am.
big change. Really, it can. So we are trying from from our college start side, we're trying, but yeah, it's not an easy. So if we get the help from industry people, that's why I said, there are so many of you who are working here. And I'll tell you something, especially when you're in IT burnout is super fast. So it's a stairway
Yes,
to
yes, yes.
it is. So all of you professionals who are in IT, if you actually teach once in a while, your burnout ratio will be less, because when you teach, you get that energy from the students. So I tell everyone, like I'm already getting calls from my 2020 grads saying that, ma'am, 2 years and we are already fed up. I'm like, go teach somewhere, do some workshops, and you'll get back that energy. So it will help both ways. The professionals also, it will help. The students also, it will help. So if we can do more of such communication, I'm 100% sure. I mean, we don't have to do modules, syllabus, KTU, CUSAT, all that. You just what is it, and get to know more about it, and work towards it. I'm pretty sure we can. I mean, we don't really have to go to US to be able, or do a master's to be able to understand that. We can do it right here. We don't have to be in IITs to do that. Anybody can do now with the internet. It's all like, it doesn't matter your IIT or your KTU, really doesn't matter, as you have those same resources if you utilize. So yeah, great to know your perspective, Jasmine.
Yeah, thank you, Justine.
Thank you.
So since you mentioned about that burnout, I think that depends on a lot of factors, like the kind of company, whether it is a service-based or product-based company sometimes, and the
Yes.
kind of work that you're doing, your role or the working culture or the size of the team, many factors. Because I
Yes.
remember people used to say or tell me when I am in IT, oh, IT field, it's like heavy pressure. You can't move from your seat from 9 to 6 p.m. like, and you can't talk to colleagues. This kind of thoughts I used to hear, but my experience was totally different. My experience was totally different. I think no, I can't explain it here. I don't have the time. That was not the case. I meant highly flexible, and a lot of learning opportunity, lot of upskilling opportunities, cross skilling also. That's how
Yes.
we are doing, because
Yes.
the era where we used to learn for the 4 years, if it is engineering, or 3 years other bachelor's degree, and then work for next 40 years, that's already gone. Now we are continuously learning. When we are
Yes.
talking
Yes.
about DevOps with continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous testing, yeah, continuous learning. Continuous learning should be there to stay, to fit, or like survive in the field. Only the fittest will survive. That's a reality. That's why people are getting
True.
outdated these days. And these community members, people who join these communities, most of them are potential learners. I mean, they'll try to upskill continuously. So even the freshers, they have to compete with these people. Even if there's a new technology, the students or freshers don't think that you'll be getting an upper hand there, because the people from other industry, they are also willing to learn, willing to cross skill. So you have to compete with all such people from industry. So we have to be equipped at the college level itself. So
Yes. Very.
yeah, so yeah, we should try. And I'm glad that people like Jasmine, I hope that they got a better understanding by interacting with the people with hands-on in the industry, how it works in the industry. And I'm glad to say that Jasmine is not just a member of the community; it's an organizing team member. He's managing our website now.
Wow,
Okay,
nice.
so yeah, so he'll be getting more opportunity to interact with our organizing team members and as well as speakers. So it helps in multiple ways. It
Yes.
helps in getting an internship, not just knowledge. Okay, getting an internship or maybe getting placed in some companies, and then also for this continuous upskilling. And we have members who have done that in our organizing team. As I said, they were from CUSAT. One of our member, organizing team member, he's
Oh,
working in InfoPark now. Was
okay.
from CUSAT, and he was interested in all these community activities. Still, I mean, from the
Nice.
college level itself, he got hired, and he is getting great help from our speakers in DevOps Malayalam and also other members. So I think, yeah, like Jasmine mentioned, community learning will help a lot to improve. And I assure you that we will be definitely coming to colleges for delivering such talks and workshops.
Please do.
Yeah,
Please
sure
do.
thing, sure thing. As I said, we have dedicated internal pool of speakers, so we'll surely utilize that opportunity. And coming to colleges is already in our bucket. So at that time, okay, we have 10 more minutes remaining. Maybe somebody else can comment, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Hi, myself Niran Vijaykumar.
Hi.
Am I audible?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I am one of a speaker in the DevOps Malayalam community.
Okay.
So my question is like, say you were telling like we ourselves we can reach out to colleges and take up the sessions.
Sure.
So how we can find out these events? Because I'm also interested to share my knowledge with these students who is coming out of college. From our experience, we can share that knowledge. But how we can find out those events for which
So
we
I
can
think
contact?
yeah, so what you need is like a point of contact in different colleges is what I think. So like for example, when I got so what I used to do is last year when we used to get every Saturday we used to get an industry speaker, I used to just go on LinkedIn and then just connect with like maybe 20 and then maybe one person will reply back to me. That's how I connected to industry speakers. But if industry speakers want to connect to college, they just need to. So like Jasbin is still in college, I'm guessing, right? He's the final year, right? Yeah, okay. So through him you can get for Rajgiri. You can connect with me. I know people in CUSAT, KMEA, ISAT, MEC. So I know a few colleges here because I go give workshops in different colleges. And how I do it, I just walk in. I go to different colleges. I say, I can help you with your computer networks, and I can help the students with that. And I just walk in. That's what I do. I don't have any connection. I have not, I have not lived here like that. So that's what I do. I just walk. And somebody had a okay question. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I do. I just walk in there and I say that this is my field, networks is my field, and I can take a session. And exactly that's how I've taken session in ISAT, and I even went to Christ College, Irnyalakuda, RIT, Kottayam. So I just go to some places. Some places I go with reference, but many places like St. Albert's and whatever is here in Kochi, I just walk in. I just go to the principal. I just say I would like to take a session for your students, and I can interact with them so that you can see, other than unleashing me to them just like that. So like that. And so for you, if you want to take a session, I think if you have a point of contact, it will really help. And one point of contact is enough for you to form that, and then coordinate that. And once you start taking sessions, other colleges will start calling you, because the student network is such, it spreads like wildfire. So I would suggest any of you are interested, if it's related to any CUSAT, MEC, any of these, you can get in touch with me. Or if it's any other college, if you know any one student there, try and connect to a faculty there, and through them organize and just say it's for, because every college is looking for industry speakers. Why? They need their NBA accreditation, so they need to tick the boxes, more than anything else, which is a fact. So that's where, so I think we can actually utilize the fact that colleges need industry people, and industry people can help mentor students. So it's a win-win both ways. So you can try like that. So for sure, there'll be a lot of colleges who will open their arms to receive you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Niran. I see that Shari has raised hand. Before coming to you, Shari, I'd like to know anyone else has to comment. I meant like to comment on or have any questions. Okay, we have only 9 minutes remaining. Yes. I see that our speaker Manoj joined a bit late, but he is one of the early members of DevOps Malayalam when we started in Clubhouse.
Okay.
So not sure. Maybe Manoj will comment. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sorry. I just came
Hi.
back and hi. Okay, if I think like you were taking sessions for colleges, right? For
Yes.
regularly.
I take
Okay.
sessions. Yes, I do.
Wonder so
Manoj, she's a faculty member at Department of Information Technology CUSAT, the CUSAT campus.
okay. So okay, again, if you are a faculty member, see, I always wonder, for me or my cousins or anybody who has gone to the engineering or degree or anywhere in the final year, right? They
Yes.
all will be running for a project. Okay, everybody will be running for a project. Somebody will be like, there were almost hundreds of institutes who can give ready-made projects.
Yes, I
Either
have realized that.
either they land up in a ready-made project in 2 weeks, get finalized, go to take the documents to the teacher and get certified, done thing. So it's why the projects always happens at a final year, because you guys already know that there is going to be a project in the final year. So see, for us, right? For us, everybody is a employee who contribute 45 hours to their business. So as a faculty, why can't you think like, okay, this is a 60-member person who can give me 45, at least what, 250 hours or 45 hours daily for 3 weeks. So if you think like that, why can't you can come up with a project in the first year itself? Ask them what you want to do, what you want to do. Every time you ask them, at final year they will be ready to do a big thing, right? Rather than asking at the final moment, you can ask like what you want to do in the final, what you want to do. Every time you can ask, right? It's
Yes.
nothing like that. You are going to do a project. You are going to do. Always ask them what you want to do. What you want to do. So that what you want to do question will get you something, right?
Yes.
At least they will be prepared for like what is coming up. Like I always hate that fact that at final year, even my cousin was running to me to asking, say, give me a project. I want to submit. I said, what the hell? I'm not taking any project in my hand and running around.
Very good point, Manoj. So the thing is, I'll tell you the reality in colleges, what actually happens. So suppose today I am a faculty member and I'm taking, say, C programming today, okay, for this semester. Next semester, I'll be given maybe universal human values to take, okay, and then the next semester I'll be given something else to take. So the whole problem lies in the fact that the same teacher is not given, not allocated similar. So what happens is, if you are good at one subject and it is taught by one teacher, it actually, at least that's what I've seen, because I did my master's in Australia, and I've seen that those professors or those teachers are super good at what they do because that's what they teach, that is their subject. But unfortunately, I've seen it not in just CUSAT, I've seen it in other colleges also. It's the same thing. So the teacher is just, it's like, a lottery system. Okay, you take this, you take that, you take this, and the teacher doesn't really get much time to prepare that subject, and they just have to take it because they were assigned that subject. So this happens all through the 4 years. Okay, so maybe you as a batch got some teachers, but then the next batch will get some other teachers, and so on and so forth. Rather than you having dedicated teachers for, okay, say software engineering, there's a dedicated teacher, or cloud computing, there's a dedicated teacher, because that teacher will know how to do things, and when you reach that semester, they can actually help you out. But over here, the teacher is at sea, the students are at sea. It's so it's just you're trying to finish the syllabus is what is happening. At least that's my observation in the past 4 years. So it is what you have said is fantastic, and I wish and I hope at some point this will be implemented in colleges, whereby from first year. And that's the reason why I try and tell the first years, you have to start working on GitHub. It's not a last minute thing. Start working from now. But yeah, there is a big loophole, and that needs to be fixed, is all I can say.
I argue with this because I'm not asking them to go learn or something. I always ask, what do you want to do? That is the question. What you want to do. That question, the triggering point for him to think what he or she want to do. Then, how many of you take this for 6 months? He's going to study at the previous day night of exam and write exam on the next day and pass.
True. Yeah. No, this is it's a very, very valid point, Manoj. It's a very valid point. And and there are a lot of people who they're clueless. And when I ask them at S6, I'm like, okay, so what is your plan for future? Ma'am, we still have 1 year. We'll think about it. That's how they have that laid back attitude. But I think, yes, as teachers, we should start doing it from the first year. Yes, that's something we should do. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, Manoj. Yeah, great suggestion. And it's evident why it is required from Maya's last comment. Yeah, we have still 1 year. Unfortunately, we don't have time for more discussion. Maybe next time, or when we come to your college for an offline session, we can do. So Shari has raised her hand also. I would welcome Shari to give a vote of thanks for today's speaker.
Before that, actually, just before the vote of thanks, I just wanted to play a short video about our Mind Empower NGO, if that's okay with you. It's a 2-minute video. Is that okay? Or you don't have the time?
I think it's fine.
Yeah. Is that okay, Shari? Can I play the video? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to tell, so I run this NGO, Mind Empowered, for mental health awareness as well. So I just a short promo video just to show what all we are doing. And all volunteers are welcome, anybody who wants to volunteer with us. So I'll just present it just a second. Just give me a minute.